Hello. Unfortunately, it is time to refactor the envelope editor because there's a few problems with the envelope editor at the moment. Um, so this is the current Patreon build. So when I have screen scaling going on, you see the fonts don't render very well inside this envelope editor, and also it looks like kind of blurry or something, which makes a lot of sense because these envelope editors are rendered using a viewport. And by viewport, I'm talking about the Godot abstraction over, I think in OpenGL terms, it's called render to texture. So Godot has this sort of abstraction over that concept, and they call it a viewport. But anyway, it's these have been implemented using viewports, and that's why the fonts are getting messed up in certain situations. And they look kind of weird. And where you get this sort of weird pixelated effect with these lines and things. Because doing oversampling with viewports, I think in most cases is not possible with Godot, with Godot 3.5. And in cases where it is possible, it's just like a massive ball ache. Like whether it's possible or not for your specific use case, is variable, and then the difficulty in setting up is variable. Anyway, why am I using viewports for these envelope editors? The reason is, I think the entire reason is this label in the top left of the editor. See here where it says pitch. When I mouse over it, it sort of fades away. And also, this used to be true. I don't know how far back in the builds you have to go for this to be true. If you have the envelope line passing through that label, I was doing this thing where I would like alpha fade it away as it approached this label so that it wouldn't contrast. And then when you mouse over the label, the line would come back into focus and the label fades away. And when you move the cursor away, the label would come back in and you would get this like alpha fade where the line sort of fades out so that you could still read the label. I think that's the entire reason. As you can see, that is not actually working right now. And I checked back into like September of last year and it still wasn't working back then. So I don't know when it broke, but it broke a long time ago. Also, what the fuck is the point of this label anyway? You can already see your editing pitch because it says it right here. You can see the button that's highlighted. And so if you have a lot of these buttons, I guess eventually they will scroll out of view. So maybe that's why I had this label in the first place. But I think it's not a great reason to have it. It's like an indicator that you're editing. You already have that indicator most of the time. And also if you see this like envelope, like you can see you're editing. So I think I'll just remove that label anyway. And then there's zero reason to be using a viewport. Viewports are quite expensive things. And so what I can't do is like, see, in this case I have 2 viewports on the screen active. And I have 3. What I can't do is just have a viewport sitting in the Godot scene tree for each of these nodes. even if I'm like disabling it and enabling it, I cannot create a viewport for every block on the workspace. That's a completely insane thing to do because it's an expensive resource. It has to allocate a bunch of memory every time you initialize it. So what I do to set this up at the moment is I um, I have a pool of viewports, and anytime an envelope editor is made invisible, I just release that viewport back to the pool, and then when an envelope is made visible, I acquire a viewport from the pool and just situate it in this node. So that's a whole bunch of complications that make this really silly. So I'm just going to refactor the envelope editor to stop using viewports and just do everything in line, and that will fix the font rendering. It will fix the sort of weird pixely issue when you have screen scaling turned up. So things will look a bit cleaner. And I'll get rid of this label. I think it's pointless. I don't know what the point of that label is, other than just looking nice. You might think that why would you even think just to resolve this issue of the line conflicting with the label, you went to the trouble of creating a viewport and rendering everything in a viewport. Isn't that a bit of a silly idea? And yes, it probably always was a silly idea, but at the time, the envelope editor was a lot more simple, and also blockhead itself was more simple. And I was setting everything up in the Godot editor at the time, rather than doing things in code. So it's easier to just throw things together and go, oh yeah, that works. I can just render it using a viewport without really thinking. It's just one of these typical situations of me over time learning more about how to use Godot correctly. Back then I didn't know what I was doing really as much. So anyway, I just left that building and it succeeded. Okay, what's going to happen when it starts up? I've just been deleting a bunch of code again. Okay, it crashes at some point. Why? This is no. Okay, must be a build issue. Because I just deleted a bunch of headers or something. I don't see why this would be crashing. I didn't change anything here. I just changed one of the enums in this header. So anyway, I'm just doing a clean build because I think MSVC has got confused as usual about what object files need to be updated. Yes. So other things about these envelope editors. You can see. So the envelope editor at the moment, I'm using viewports, and it's almost all handled using the visual server in code now. There's very little packed scenes going on here. One of the things you'll notice is I'm rendering all of these labels for the grid lines here. And sometimes the labels disappear, sometimes they appear. The Godot Visual Server unfortunately has no API for rendering text. And so the way that I'm doing this is I'm keeping a pool of label nodes and just reusing them to render these numbers here. And yesterday I wrote a better mechanism for Yesterday, I didn't realize that I was going to stop using viewport, so I actually wrote this little interface for um, reusing labels and viewports when drawing complicated things like the envelope editor. Um, so I just wrote this little thing. But so I now have a new interface for like getting labels and reusing them when rendering using the visual server, and I won't be using the viewport thing. Okay. Yes, I just renamed this file. That's why you can't find it. But why do I even need this? I don't think I need this here. Drawing. Oh, okay. So the envelope is extremely complicated. The way that it's drawn is really, really complicated. So this is the control itself, which is really complicated. It's about 600 lines. And then the rendering of things on the screen is all inside this file. I have some kind of drawing interface. And then all of this code is for drawing like the grid lines and the envelope points and the lines. And all of the logic for like pooling viewports and reusing them is all inside here. In fact, I'm abstracting the entire editor, and each editor has its own pool of labels that it's using. So I'm going to stop doing this because this is complete nonsense. So I think a lot of this file is going to be eliminated, and I don't think I need these init and shutdown things anymore, which is what the compiler is complaining about at the moment. What is this doing? Okay, that's interesting. What am I passing? I'm passing blockhead main. I'm just going to delete this and this and try to understand what I'm doing here. Root. What is the point of this? Is that just, oh right, so I need a node to place the viewports on so they could initialize themselves, I think is the idea. Okay, so hold on, let's keep this on. I just want to so this will be in controls like this. I probably shouldn't have done this before starting recording. Yeah, the other problem with the envelope editor is oh yeah, the oversampling thing. So this is set up using a viewport container with a viewport inside of it. The viewport container does not actually take into account. It makes sense that it doesn't. It doesn't take into account the screen scaling, which I think in Godot terms is called the shrink, the stretch and shrink factor or something like that. So if you have screen scaling on like 200, the size of this viewport is like half of what it should be. That's why it's sort of rendered in a blurry way and the fonts don't render properly. So ideally you would want like the viewport container to like recognize that you have screen scaling and then double the size of the viewport. But that's actually a bad idea for several reasons. So it makes sense that it doesn't do that. Yeah. Okay, I'm just waiting for it to finish building now. Yep, I'm gonna just... The whole reason for all this complication in this file is the viewport pooling, and I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So this, I can really simplify things. So I'm not doing a complete rewrite of the envelope editor, it's just a refactor, which is hopefully not going to be too bad. Yeah, so okay, everything's at a point where I can begin breaking things. Okay, let's go back to here actually and delete this and this. And go to here and delete this. And this. And now start deleting things. I'm going to delete anything to do with viewports because I'm not going to be using viewports. Oh yeah, this... Oh, I'm not even going to explain that. Minimum segment edit width, that's fine. Now this, why do I need this? Okay. Right. So I'm going to be passing something else into here. Wait, what is this? What was that viewport handle? It's a size T index. Okay. So it was just an index into an array of viewports. Of whatever that was. One of these, I guess. Or was it... Okay, I will soon I will understand what's happening here. Draw grid. What did you just do? What is this? Okay. Viewport handle. What is this? It's a handle index viewports nodes. What is this? Right, okay. So I have naming issues here because I have an array of this thing called editor. And then I'm indexing into that with a viewport handle. So the names of things are not very clear, but that's okay. I'm going to get rid of all this. So I'm not going to need this acquire and release thing anymore. So what was happening is every time an envelope editor was made visible, I was acquiring a reference to one of these objects. Which I would use to do further drawing. So I'm not going to have to do that anymore. All I'm going to do is pass in the canvas item. To each of these functions and then just do my drawing on the canvas item. So I don't need this shit, I'm pretty sure. Is it like this? Probably. I'm going to guess it's like this. Get content. No, I don't want that. Every viewport that I was creating would have automatically created like a content node where I'd place the little labels and things, I think. This is my stupid RAII thing, which I'm not going to need. So these are just going to be straight functions. Except I probably want to, wherever it draws the grid, which is this one, I guess. I think this is the one that's going to set up the labels. And previously I had the label pools set up in here. But I think I will pass in. Oh no, I don't need to do that anymore. I've already got like a global pool of labels now because I set this thing up. So all I have to do is create an instance of that and it will get one from the pool and then release it when it goes out scope. Is that going to make sense? Well, I need to keep the reference. I need to keep the object stored somewhere actually. So I need some kind of mutable state here. Alright, I'll figure that out when I get to it. I'll figure it out when I get to it. Alright, get rid of this. Anything to do with viewports. And anything to do with labels. Or pooling of labels. Oh, I see what I was doing here. Alright, changed my mind about what I'm doing. Delete. So actually what I want to do is just rename this. Delete this stuff. Hello. It's a bit weird anyway. I don't know. I see what it's doing. Okay. Okay, I changed my mind again. Okay. This is going to be difficult to refactor. But I will persist. I think I definitely want to just simplify. Simpler I can get this, the better. I want to eliminate this object. These are canvas items. Just here. Okay, the envelope editor. Get rid of this. Like just the way that I update the render is really complicated. That's why I have all these. So I try not to redraw things that I don't need to redraw. Guess I get rid of this. Right, I am going to create another struct in here. Once I figure out what the hell I'm doing, things will start to flow. Why is this not in the project? Envelope editor drawing. I did add it here. Visual Studio thinks that this is not in the project. Controls. It's not in the project. This file shouldn't even exist. I deleted this shit, didn't I? I thought I did. It is deleted. According to source controls, envelope editor rendering. Oh, I'm so confused. What is Visual Studio doing? This doesn't exist. See? The folder doesn't exist. It's just in memory. What is happening? Visual Studio is so cool sometimes. It just does whatever. Yeah, man. Ah, now you know. Okay. Take this and put it into here, except I don't want that actually. I want VS filters. So those are the canvas items I'm going to set up. I could just always have them set up instead of putting them in here. Yeah, this is fine for now. I'm not going to rock the boat that much. I think I'll just delete this. So these are the labels for the grid, which I'm gonna handle in a different way. And then I have one more label for the indicator thing that appears when you're hovering over the line, which I will also handle in a different way, I suppose. Do I have... Oops. Indicator label. Put... Where is this happening? Oh, and draw... Hover indicator. Where is that? Draw hover indicator. Draw hover feedback. Oh, it's this one. Okay. I think I just passed the label in that case. I don't really know what I'm doing now. This... Okay, this just gets deleted. Make viewport. No. Delete that. I have some code for drawing lines. Make editor. Right, I just delete all of this. I'm going to have to figure all that out again. Okay, acquire editor result. Get rid of that. Get rid of all this. Make grid label. So this is going to return one of my new pool nodes. No idea if it's going to work. Is it in here? Oh. So I have to add it to a parent. Fucking hell. Winter is over, so I no longer have a cold. Summer is here, so I have allergies. or spring, I should say. So I'm always sneezing. It never ends. So pool label. I want some kind of parent. Parent adds child. Label. Why do I have to move it out? Because there's no copy constructor. So why do I need a copy constructor? I don't understand that. I don't understand C++. I don't know, I don't really get why I can't just return this. In that case, I need to rethink this wrapper class. I thought that if there's a move constructor, you can just... Oh, there wasn't a move constructor. Why was the move constructor deleted? Is that because I had a user-defined default constructor? Maybe. Alright, let's learn. I'll take a moment to learn. Implicitly defined move constructor. Somewhere in here. Why did this not show up in Google? I had to... Okay. I'll delete a move constructor. Implicitly... Blah, 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 blah. If it has a destructor that is deleted or... No, that's not true. Implicitly declared move constructor. If no user-defined move constructors are provided, and all of the following... Oh, okay, user-declared destructor, so that's why it's deleted. Fair enough. Okay, let me actually think about that then. There's a user-declared destructor, but it's just default. It doesn't do anything. I think if I get rid of that, it's not going to link, or it's not going to... Because I'm using a unique pointer of this opaque type. Or forward declared type, I should say. So I need to do this stupid trick to make it link. Whatever. Should I just delete this? I'm never going to use it. Get rid of that. Okay. I'm just going to continue. Let's call this acquire. No, let's call it make. So releasing back to the pool happens automatically when these things go out of scope. So I'm going to be putting these into some kind of container. Put grid line labels. Okay. Oh, I need the parent. How do I... Yeah, it's not gonna... let's just make this public. Wait, is it fine? Okay, it's fine. Right. Yeah, so I need to do something with these labels. I need to store them somewhere. Just having a think. Okay. Vector pool label. Labels. Draw a grid line. To this I need these canvas item. I'd really like to swap the order of these arguments. Step line. Huh? Alright, this is such a complicated file that Visual Studio is getting confused. What's the problem now? I don't know what's going on. Error type. Incompatible. I have another one down here. Most of these functions should be static. Draw grid lines. Okay. Oh, so I don't need this now. Wasn't even used. Hover indicator label. Indicator info. Is this real? So this might be the one I deleted earlier. Put hover indicator label. Okay. So I just pass in a label, I guess. No. What the hell was that? Indicator info. Where's that? Huh? Oh, I do have it. It's right there. Oh, it's fine. Okay, right. No, hold on. So I was doing this little trick before where I have a Godot control called that I was calling a pivot. It's like a control with like a width and height of 0, so it just looked like that. And then the label was basically centered on this pivot, and as the text of the label changed, it would like automatically, just because of the way Godot's layout engine works, it would automatically resize itself about that pivot. Otherwise, if you just have a label on its own and you try to position it, it's always going to be like positioned relative to the top left-hand corner, when actually I want to. Anyway, I was trying to center it on a point. So I was just setting the position of the pivot, and then the label would automatically follow because it was a child node of the pivot. So let's do that again. Indicator label. pivot and label. Oops. Okay, this thing I can delete. Just slowly whistling away this problem. What is this? Blah blah blah. No. Release labels. Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't sort out the... So at the end of this function... Basically, I need a way to tie the lifetime of these pool label things to the lifetime of the envelope being open. So I'm going to pass in... I'm going to need to pass in a thing. Should I put it here? I can create a thing called a pool label store, which is just a vector of these pool labels. Maybe I should rethink this. No, this is fine. Because I want the backing for the pool to be this global thing, which it is. But then I want the lifetime of the active labels to be tied to whatever UI element it is that needs to use them. So let's do a little thing here. There we go, acquire. which is going to return this sort of a thing. And then clear, which just clears all of them. This is written badly. I need to rewrite this because this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. What? So this is not going to be a copyable type. It's only going to be movable. So this makes sense, I think, to do it like this. Rid of this. Okay, and then we have this pool label store thing. I just don't know what I'm doing. So if you just directly create a pool label, it's going to go out of scope and then be released unless you store it somewhere. Alternatively, you can just use this interface to acquire them from a store, and you have a guarantee that it's not going to go out of scope until clear is called. This is not a good interface, but I don't know. I just don't know what I'm doing. Don't know how to do it better. Store. Do in place. In place back. Return store back. Install clear. What am I doing? This can't be right. Okay. So I'm going to pass in the pool label store. And then acquire a label from the store. Like that. Alright. Which is returning. Okay. Alright, it seems like maybe this is okay. I have to propagate this all the way down. I have to go to the bathroom. Just think about how much easier this shit would be if Godot had a decent text rendering API. Which in Godot 4 it does, but I had a look at it out of curiosity and it's so low level. You can't just like pass it a string and have it render it. You have to render individual glyphs. So this is CI. So yeah, this is where I got to. Release labels. Pool label store. So I guess in here I will do this. Parent. What's the problem here? Ah. Alright, easier stuff. Draw line, CI, do this. Don't need that, right? CI, CI. These other functions are going to be really easy compared to the grid drawing. This, and get rid of that. CI, CI, CI. Again, all these should be... Most of these functions should be static and they're not right now. Whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Just going to close my bedroom window because it's raining. Forward point. Whoops. Now what's going on here? Yes. So I need the... What was it? Indicator label. Draw convert indicator, CI, indicator label. Okay, this doesn't exist anymore. And finally, just delete this. Delete this. Draw grid. What does draw grid need? A pool label store. And draw hover feedback. Needs the indicator label. Okay, that's my new envelope editor rendering interface, which is much simpler than it was before because it's just a bunch of functions now. But I have to pass more shit into the functions. Oh yeah, so I need pool label store. And I need a pool label. And in fact, I go elevator, indicator label. No. Yes. Right. The envelope is a scene. Is nothing at the moment. What is this color rect for? Is this just a background? I can draw that in code. I don't know what I'm doing here. I might eliminate this packed scene actually, because it's pointless. Boop 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 boop. So I could draw this background myself. Okay, let's do this. Pool label, indicator label. Like that. Do this. I'll get rid of that. Okay. So there's going to be a million errors in here now. Let's do this. Now then. Now then. What are you complaining about? Right, what's the problem? Is it this? Or this? Or what? What are you complaining about here? Okay. Get rid of that. Am I allowed to do this? Yes. But I'm not allowed to do this because it would be an assignment. So I have to in place instead. Like this. And then it will probably still complain during linking. But we'll see, we'll see what happens. Okay, let's do this and this. This is not a thing anymore. This is going to be my draw. Alright. So I need to do more setup here. I need to do more setup. Let's see. Visual server. That. Drawing. Grid. These are my canvas items. I need to dump this into a some kind of I need to look at my deleted code. What was I doing before? Grid, hover, line, point, segment. I was just doing them alphabetically, which indicates that it doesn't matter what order I do it. Canvas item set parent. And then the other ones. Okay. Okay. What other setup do I need to do? There's more that I need to do. Oh yeah, I need to sort out this indicator label. Which again is here. This is what I do. Okay. So okay, in init. Okay, let's create this. Indicator label pivot. Excuse me. What was I doing? Pivot. Alright, I changed my mind again about this. Let's just use a label. Why am I doing this? I'm making it slightly translucent. I don't know why I'm bothering to do that. Why am I doing preset top left? I don't know. I should just do this. Labels are, they always have, by default, ignore, I think. Yes. I'm going to get rid of this color vector. In fact, I'm going to get rid of this entire pack scene. Probably. Okay, so that's that. I think I just have to pass the right the right stuff to these functions now. So draw grid. Drawing grid. Drawing label store. Draw points. Drawing points. Draw line. Line. Segment editor. Drawing segment editor. Oops. Hover feedback. B drawing hover feedback. And the indicator label. True. Indicator label. Label equals, yeah, exactly. It knows exactly what it wants. I don't know. I don't know if any of this is right. Yeah. Yep. And now it's going to complain about the in place. Okay. It's going to complain about the in place. So do I just need to create a constructor? Like this? Maybe? Draw grid. Draw grid. CI label store. Parent also. I have to pass in the label parent. Yep. So the label parent would be just this, I suppose. There's no way this is going to be right the first time. I changed too much. Let's see what happens. See where it crashes. Set this to like 150. Hasn't crashed yet. Up. There we go. This is not a real thing. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Alright, so I suspected I would get some kind of lifetime issue with these pool labels because I've made some kind of mistake, I'm sure. So the label store has two labels in it. Here and here. Oh, yeah. Yes. References are invalidated. Of course. So what do I want to do here? Just return the index, I guess. Does anyone watch these videos? Who spotted that error? I wonder. Who spotted it? So what do I want to do exactly? I'm not sure actually. Beep, 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 beep. So I'm still not really happy with this interface that I wrote. I'm not really happy. I'm trying to decide what to do. Whatever. Operate a square bracket. Return, yes, thank you. Oh god, this is going to be this is going to be So let's just do this instead. Now where it's oh my god. Wow. Okay, so we're missing labels, but we've got some labels. They only printed. Oh, what the? Okay, it only prints the last set of labels. I wonder why. And we've got all these errors in the background. Envelope editor already has parent envelope editor. That's cool. That is cool. What's going on? Add child. I need to go to the bathroom again. I've drank so much coffee. So when the pool label is released, it should be removed from its parent automatically. So somewhere I have. Let's see if that's happening. Let's keep an eye on the output. Okay. So when I zoomed in once, it did something. I'm not sure where that's happening. Add child. This shouldn't be happening here. Nope. It's not. Oh, yeah, it is. What have I done wrong? I wonder. What have I done wrong here? The label store is broken, it seems. Oh, look at... Interesting. What am I doing wrong? Okay. Something interesting is happening here. I have 9 labels in the pool. And most of them are the same label, it seems. Right, so I have some kind of move constructor, copy constructor issue or something like that. Let's see what's going on. So first of all, this should be deleted. Oh right, yeah. I need to write the move constructor correct properly, otherwise it's not going to work. I need to write this properly. Yes. No, that doesn't matter. Okay. So if node node. Oh no, I could do it like this, then I can use standard swap. I think that's the way you're supposed to do this. Exchange? What's that? Exchange. Is that how you do it? So again, I don't even need this. Alright. And I guess for completion's sake, I implement this. Okay, pilot. Oh, you don't know because I didn't put that. Alright, that was my problem. And now? Ah. Look at that, it works. Incredible. And look, it looks so smooth now compared to how it did. I guess these icons don't look quite as smooth. Is it possible to like oversample those icons? Or do you have to rely on filtering? What is it? I don't know what they are called. Res resources. Let me think. Let's look in here. Res. Editor point hovered. Editor point indicator. Editor point. Editor point selected. Editor point. dot 5 dot xy knob ring. Let's have a look. Was it dot 5? This thing. I think if I turn on filter for these, then that will be in some way good. Knob 3, this thing. Bitmaps. Oh, that's only for when it's scaling down, right? Not when it's scaling up. Ring 1. Filter. Let's see how that looks. That does look slightly better. I should probably just I should just create a higher res icon, textures though, because I never used to have the screen scaling option. It looks a bit fuzzy. Yeah. I think I actually prefer it without the filtering. Anyway, this is actually, I'm surprised it is working. I'm going to turn filtering back off. Like this. I actually prefer the pixelated look, but I'll try to at some point create some higher res textures, and then I think it will look fine. I can't remember how I made those textures. I think I possibly drew them pixel by pixel. This is working fine, I guess. Yeah. And there's no viewports involved anymore, which is really nice.